What is up, guys? Everyone here, bringing you guys an update to my Spyral deck profile. Actually, the first instant for Spyrals. Now, I decided to give you an update before Circuit Break, so it's pre-Circuit Break deck. The reason why I'm doing that, and it might seem strange because we have less than a month before Circuit Break itself, is because, well, I just wanted to make it a little bit more easier when I'm going to do the Circuit Break deck profile, so it wouldn't take too long because I'm going to explain most of the cards right now, and just to let people who pick those up and just don't know how to play with them a little bit, or just want to have them as an option but sometimes don't have the time to read the effects, and will make it a little bit easier for them. B, I want to show you a little bit more of a list that I think a lot of people are going to run, with some cards maybe change for when Double Helix is coming out, which it's pretty much the standard, I believe, line or close to it. So it's pretty much it, and I don't want to show you my special text, which I'm going to show you when we get Double Helix, of course. And the third reason is because, well, me, my local store, like I told you million of times, is weird. So because of that, I don't really 100% sure when we're going to get the Circuit Break. The second reason is because, well, it's just my store became what I'm going to call it is going to move to its another place location in the city, or just in another city. I don't know where it's going to move to. So because of that, I don't even know when we're going to get our cards. So the Circuit Break is set itself. So yes, that's because of that I want to give you an update. And then also, if you guys noticed, I actually got an ability to just make my camera not move so much as it used to, because now I got kind of a better way to move, my camera will not move as it is. But yeah, without further ado, let's get started with this deck profile. So essentially, I'm going to show you what the cards are that are essentially the most important ones, and what are the cards that essentially you can take out if you don't like them. So to start things off, you want to run triple copies of your Super Agent. Super Agent is essentially the most important card in the deck, because Super Agent, oh sorry for the movement of the camera, guys. Unfortunately it moved, but because I touched it. But essentially, Super Agent is your core card of the deck, you could say. The deck, the monsters that the theme of the deck is going around. It's essentially supposed to be James Bond and any spy movies, if you haven't figured it out. So this is essentially your James Bond. So his effect is pretty awesome. You can special summon it from the hand by its own effect, which is revealing the top card of your opponent's deck, monster, spell, and trap. You call one of those. If you call correctly, you special summon him from the hand. So that's pretty cool. But his other effect which is awesome, because it triggers when he's special summoned. When he's special summoned by the effect of a Spyral card, which is it's crazy. So it doesn't. It has the ability to essentially to be an MST, and you can only use each effect of him once per turn, obviously. But it's just super crazy. Also, to let you guys know, if you haven't picked this card up, it's essentially over $30 in Yu-Gi-Oh prices. What I checked right now, I don't really know. It keeps spiking. Just to let you guys know, this card is essentially the most important card in the deck. So you want to run 3 copies of him. Then 2 copies of the, more budget-friendly Super Agent, but also, the cards that a lot of people don't like to run, even though I don't understand, so you can put something else if you don't like it. I run 2 Toffs, because 2 Toffs is essentially your more budget-friendly, is a rare, as you can see, so it will be a little bit more easier to get. So his effect is if he's on the field or in the graveyard, he's counted as Super Agent. So really important, because you have a lot of cards that just work with Super Agent, or just some effect of some monsters that work with Super Agent. So it's really awesome. Also, his effect, once per turn, you can declare 1 card type, Spyral Super Agent, but he need to be on the field to activate his effect, to target 1 card your opponent controls, reveal and if you call correctly, you destroy the card. So it's really awesome. So essentially, it can be used as a scout for your Super Agent. You can normal summon this, activate his effect, reveal the top card of your opponent's deck. If you call it right, you destroy a card. If not, you reveal the top card of your opponent deck, and essentially you get Super Agent on board with his own effect, which is really, really awesome. I like Spyral Tough for ideas of, being your second Super Agent, because it's really, really nice, and his effects are also really neat to remember. He's effective, like, popping every time that he's on the field, like, every time that he go away and return to the field, he can activate that. So it's once per turn at the start of the effect. You already know how that works. But for all of you who don't know, every time the discard, if you have two of this, you can activate his effect twice. But if those two goes and they come back, you can activate that again. So that's really, really awesome. And then the last agent, you could say, it's not really an agent, but the card that I would consider an agent is Spyral Sleeper. Now, Spyral Sleeper is your boss monster, you can say. I run this at 1 because a lot of people like to run it at 2, but I just think like it's way too much hard, at least now, to, you discard more than 1, and I just really don't need more than 1. His effect is must be special summoned by banishing 3 Spyral cards in your graveyard. Doesn't have to be different names, so it's really, really nice. And yeah, once per turn you can target 1 Spyral card you control and 2 cards your opponent control and pop them during either player's turn, so it become like even stronger than Trident, which is stupid. His other effect is, if he dies by battle by card effect, like, destroyed, he's essentially killing your entire field, unfortunately, but he's also leaving a Spyral Super Agent from your hand, field, or graveyard, so keep that in mind. It's actually have the ability to replace itself. So it's really nice. I don't like to run it more than 1, especially because we don't have double helix, but, it's totally up to you. You can do whatever you want. I'm not controlling your life. So it's also a really easy card to get, but the next card might actually be a little bit more expensive. So it has a rare version and a super version with the OTS pack, but it still could be a little bit of expensive, and it's the core card of the deck after Super Agent. And that is your Spyral Quick Fix, which is the searcher to your Spyral Gear cards, which are your gadgets, you could say. He's the gadget guy. His effect is, when he's normal special summon, you can you can search for a Spyral Gear, and when he's in the graveyard, you can discard a card, special summon him, but banish it when it leaves the field. So both of these effects are not once per turn. He's a machine, he's a level 1, and he have 500 or less attack. Keep that in mind. If you're already guessing what the cards that work in a synergy with him, you're going to understand why this card is way too much broken. In my opinion, it should have been, like, at least the second effect once per turn, but Konami, you can just control them. They do whatever they want. So Spyral is a quick fix because, like I said, it's one of the most important cards in the deck. Next up, for your monster gadgets, you want to run double copies of Last Resort, because this card is stupidly good, because he essentially can be equipped from the field or from the hand, which is really, really nice. So even if you summon it, you can still equip it later. His effect is, well, he's giving you the monster equipped, cannot be destroyed by battle, cannot be targeted by card effects, and cannot be destroyed by card effects. So, so it's really awesome. It can basically, you equip it with your, you equip it with your super Spyral Sleeper, and is essentially protecting him completely. And also it's have another effect by sending 1 card you control to the graveyard, and the monster equipped with this can attack directly. So this card is nuts, is super good. And the last Spyral monster is the Spyral big Gear Drone. I run this card at 1 because I'm not 100% sure if I want to run it more than 1, but this effect is, when he's normal or special summon, you can look at the top 3 cards of your opponent's deck and rearrange them in any order, so it can screw your opponent next draw, which is awesome. But is the most important effect he has is, well, it is pretty important effect. The first one, actually, in the future will become really, really important, especially with double helix. But his second effect is actually really, really awesome. You can tribute him and make your Spyral Super Agent gain 500 attack for each card your opponent controls. So it's just stupid. It's even permanent. Like, I'm pretty sure it's permanent. I'm just going to read it in a second. You can tribute this card and target 1 Spyral monster you control. Gain 500 attack for each card your opponent control. It doesn't have to be Super Agent, which is nuts. And it's permanent. So let's just say your opponent controls, like, his entire field. Like, his entire field is full. Let's just say you have no other ways. You can essentially gain 500 for each spell and trap, which is 2,500 for all of them, from the main spell and trap zone. Then 525 also for your opponent, what do you call main monster zones. so it's 5,000 already, and then 2 from your field for his field spell and from his extra monster zone. So essentially you can become, your monster can become 6,000 attack more higher, and if it has equipped with this as well, and you destroy, you tribute another card you control, it can attack directly. So essentially your super agent can essentially almost OTK your opponent by himself if you have this chance, but it almost never happens, so it's a really nice effect. And his graveyard effect, you can target one super agent, you can basically banish this card and a Spyral card from your graveyard, target a super agent in your graveyard, add it to your hand. So it's okay-ish, almost never happened, but it's really, really nice that it's actually there. And that does it for your Spyral monsters. Now we move on to our hand traps. So the first one is Effect Veiler, which I run. Oh, sorry, so sorry guys, I just moved the table with my leg, unfortunately, because it's the table of my apartment, and it's not like, standalone, stand in the deep in the ground table like I have at home. So, let's start with that. 2 Effect Veilers, because Effect Veiler is your, I think it's better than Ghost Ogre, at least in this format. You could run Ghost Ogres. I just also don't have Ghost Ash, but you could run Ghost Ash. The reason why I run 2 Effect Veiler, A, it's a level 1 tuner. 2, it's negate monster effect, and 3, because it's actually the first effect is actually, the first reason is actually the reason why I run it, because it let me bring Trishula, and I really, really like Trishula in the deck. And being able to negate a monster effect is actually really, really awesome, and it's like one of the most important thing in Yu-Gi-Oh! Right now, in my opinion, so you want to run 2 Effect Veilers. And then the last hand trap is the Maxi, because it's Maxi, it makes sense, it's the most broken card in the deck, you could say, because it's just terrible, it's that is at 1, but it is what it is. Konami just haven't decided to touch it in the ban list, which is stupid. Anyway, continuing on, for your spells now, you are on triple copies of your Spyral Resort and triple copies, again, sorry guys, I just touched the camera, I'm sorry that I'm getting used to this idea of like not using it in my hand and just like, holding card in my hand too close to the table and just bump into the camera over and over, so I'm sorry about that. And next up, free terraforming to search it, because this failed spell as it is right now is very, very important. When we get to double helix, things are going to change, so this terraforming is going to go to 2 or to 1, so it will be still very important, but not that important. So essentially the field spell by itself giving you the ability that your Spyral monster cannot be targeted by your opponent card effects, by your opponent card effect, which is, it just cannot be targeted by your opponent card effect, which is just stupid. I just can't stress that enough. His second effect, once per turn, not when it's activated, you can add 1 Spyral monster from your deck to your hand. So if you have 3 of this in your hand, you can add Super Agent, Tough, and Quick Fix by activating 1, 2, and 3. So it's stupid. And it's just really, really good field spell. Its last effect, which is its maintenance cost, is also really, really important. It can recycle any monster from your graveyard. Any monster. Doesn't have to be Spyral monster, it just have to be any monster, but if you don't recycle a monster, this card dies. So essentially keep that in mind, and this, in my opinion, right now, the most important card in the spell lineup. Moving on, for your other Spyral spells, you want to run triple Big Red, because Big Red is essentially your Premature Burial. But what's really, really good about this Premature Burial, it does not kill your monster when it's destroyed. So if it dies, like, this spell dies after you, special summon the monster, it just loses its immunity to battle, which is really awesome. So you give your opponent, the ability to be immune to battle, and also not die when this card is gone. And yeah, this is really awesome, and I can understand why you essentially, you can only use this effect once per turn. The next one is Spyral Util Fully Armed, which is, in my opinion, my favorite equip spell in the deck, or gear in the deck. I'm only running 2 because it's cloggy and it can only activate on Super Agent, which is kind of bad, but it makes sense because the entire deck is revolved around Super Agent. Its effect, Super Agent gain 1000 attack, and when it's attack and destroy a monster by battle, you can banish that monster and another card. So it does not target, which is nuts. This effect is just nuts, and you can equip more than one of these to super agent, and you control more. You can control more than one of these, which is stupid. And its other effect is when it your opponent destroy it when it's face up on the field, you get the ability to special summon a Spyral super agent monster from your graveyard. So it's just super good. It just when your opponent just thinking like, oh, I'm killing this, and you MST this, and it can't do anything else. Well, you're getting another Spyral super agent on your field, and you get a free pop. So it's really, really awesome. And then the last spell is Spyral Mission Rescue. Not Rescue, Assault. Rescue is a trap. Assault is essentially when you destroy your opponent monster your opponent control by battle, or by you destroy a card on the field with a Spiral card effect. You essentially get a draw, so it's really, really awesome. It was really important back in the day by running more than one, but today you just need the one. It's just really here just be like your extra draw to get to your Solemn Strike, Solemn Warning, one of your traps, or any cards that you just need in that moment. And then if it destroyed itself during the third your third end phase, so keep that in mind. It's not all the time, and when it's in the graveyard, you have the ability to just special summon a Spyral monster from your hand. So it's really, really nice, and that does it to your Spyral usable spells. Now moving for the other supporting spell of the deck, Free Machine Duplication, because obvious it's work with Quick Fix. The same goes to 1-for-1. I already explained that 1-for-1 because Quick Fix is level 1. And Machine Duplication because a Quick Fix is a monster with 500 attack or less. So it's really, really awesome. And then the last searching spell is the one Reinforcer of the Army, because, well, you have Super Agent, which is a warrior, which is really, really awesome. And then to your other spells that you like to run in the deck are one Raigeki and one Dark Hole for board wipes. And then to run off the spells, I run 2 Twin Twisters to deal off with back row. Now those can be any kind of spell and traps you want. I just building this deck if I have to go second, like I'm losing in the die roll or whatever. So I will have the ability to just still have a solid way to deal with my opponent's card when I'm going second. But if you know that you're going first, put a Torrential Tribute, put a Lost Wind, put whatever you think, go more trap heavy, because it's a little bit more stronger than have tons of spells. Speaking of traps, you run 1 copy of Utility Wire and 1 copy of Rescue for your Spiral traps. Utility Wire have the effect of when you control a Super Agent, you can target one face card your opponent control, place it on the top of your opponent deck, but you can only activate it once per turn, which in my opinion kind of a shame. But it is really, really strong and it's searchable because of Spiral Gear. And Spiral Mission Rescue have the ability of it destroying itself during your first end phase, just like Assault. You can only control one, and then once per turn you can target one Spiral monster in your graveyard and return it to your hand, which is essentially can return your Quick Fixes, your Sleepers, all of your monsters that you need. And then, why the heck is there a fly here? You just get rid of it. And then the last effect, which is the most important one, is the one in the graveyard. You banish it and special summon a Spiral monster from your hand. Not from hand, from the graveyard. You essentially banish it and special summon a Spiral monster from your graveyard. So it's really, really awesome. And the last 2 traps are one Solemn Strike and the 1 Solemn Warning. Again, could be any trap you want, and just the traps that I decided to go off with. So that's it for your main deck. Now we'll move on to the extra deck. So to start things off, for your Synchros, 1 Formula Synchron, because you can use it Quick Fix, and Effect Veiler if you need to. 1 TG Hybrid Librarian, because again, it's supposed to be a Chambara, but I don't own a Chambara or any other good level 5 Synchro. Essentially, if you control a Super Agent and Effect Veiler, it's really, really nice. Then 1 Coral Dragon, because it's a nice level 6, and it can give you when it's sent to the graveyard a free draw. one black rose because you can go like, like I said, super agent, effect veiler, and quick fix give you this, and if you have another quick fix you can go black rose. It doesn't really come up, but it's just really fun to have those options. So if you don't want those three, just cut them, like at least like those two, just put instead of this something else. But it just essentially having a synchro options is always nice, and you have place in the extra deck, plenty place in the extra deck, at least for now. And then the last one is Trishula, Dragon of the Ice Barrier, because, well, I just need 2 level 4s and an effect veiler, so that's actually really easy in the deck. You just need 1 effect veiler. You normal summon, you special summon big with big red, like for example Spyral, what is his name again? Spyral Tough, and then you special summon Spyral Super Agent from your hand, and bam, you get 3 monsters on board, go Trishula, and just banish card from your opponent's hand, which is really, hand filled in graveyard, which is really awesome. And that's it for your synchros. Now for X's, the most important X's is Double Seal and Princess Sprout. I don't have Dolahand, the Ghost Trick one, but if you have the Ghost Trick guy, run one of it. I just don't own a second, own a Dolahand whatsoever, so I decided to go 1 for and 1, 2 of this, so yeah. Sorry, I just I have something in my throat. And then continuing on for your rank 4s, they want to run 1 Castell, because obvious Castell. 1 Kyrie Gorgon against targeting, so it's really be helpful during mirror matches, and essentially against Masterpiece, so you can redirect the effect of destruction. And then also 1 Dark Rebellion, which can be Tornado Dragon or whatever, but I just decided to go with Dark Rebellion because it's a beater. And that does it for your XCs. Now we'll move on to links. 1 Decon Talker, double Eve, which can be double a Proxy Dragon. I just decided to go with Eve because you have a really better protection effect. But if you want to go Proxy Dragon, I think for this build is a little bit better because, well, it's a little bit more versatile. But in the future, double Eve will be actually pretty good. So essentially, it's have a better protection effect, but again, a little bit less versatile. So you want to run only 2 of her. You don't need more than 2 of her, essentially. And then the last one is Mrs. Radiant, because it's a lot more easier to bring out than Decon Talker, and you can use just 2 quick fixes to bring this out, and all of your Earth monster gain 500 attack, which putting up your Super Agent at 2400, which is pretty good. But it does decrease your Wind monster, which putting out your Tough at 1500. So keep that in mind, which is actually really important to remember. And that does it to your Link monsters, and also does it to my, actually, not yours, my deck profile for Spirals. Hope you guys enjoy. It's actually, like I said, I will show you the cards I have during the, when we get circuit break, but I just want to give you a little bit of an introduction. So once again, hope you guys enjoy. Don't forget, like, subscribe, it's really helped the channel, and I'm actually really happy that, in the last few days we have been, the people in the channel, been increased by 20%, so it's really awesome. But yeah, once again, remember, creativity is the key in this game. Have a good day.